life finds a way. I'm Michael, a regenerative architect. I am transplanting a tomato plant, 2 of them actually. These are, I used to call them chaos tomatoes, Oliver tomatoes. My grandson was eating from one of my tomato plants back in Racine, and he squished some on the ground, gave a little back to Mother Earth, gave some back to God. And when he did, right there on the concrete of my patio in Racine, a tomato plant sprung up. I transplanted it. I moved it to brown deer. I moved it from brown deer. Unfortunately, the plant stopped being alive, but the seeds carried on. I moved it from brown deer to Milwaukee. I came out just the other day, and I believe I showed you on an earlier video that once again, it had rooted right here in concrete. And look how big and healthy this one plant is, growing in partial shade, a beautiful cherry tomato plant, a big long tap root, and lots of little healthy fibrous runner roots. And that root was growing, the root was growing all along the seam wherever water was collecting. And then the second one had taken hold, obviously not quite as big yet. And I was able to use just the garden hose and some water pressure on the jet setting and loosen up the dirt in the concrete crack and slowly and gently rock the tap roots. And I was able to get very healthy root runners for both plants. Now, as I think you just saw, I have several hydroponic buckets from when I was growing food back in Racine and again in Brown Deer. I was doing a little bit here, and I got misfocused. I started focusing on chasing tokens, money. And the problem is, food's really expensive when you get extorted again and again and again. And food's really expensive when the people that send it to you overcharge and prioritize their profit, not your health. So it turns out it's actually much easier to live. It's a lot more peaceful, and it's a lot safer to be growing food at home, even if it's in the crack of your concrete, because the expense of it is insignificant. It requires your attention. And when we're present with our attention, our energy goes up. And as our energy goes up as individuals, we can come to act kindly upon the world and see that as a regenerative architect, what looks like a bit of a mess right now will get cleaned up. We had some storms, so obviously some dirt has spilled over. These buckets are disorganized. However, their capability and functionality is perfectly intact. You could say that they're sitting there with kinetic potential, unlimited opportunity to grow free food again and again. One of the ways I'm going to grow that free food through winter is putting more windows. I'll get another pane of glass that I have that was left over in the basement. I'll put another window in on this door so it won't be quite so dark. I've already added a window in the back, so that will bring in a significant amount of natural sunlight. That sunlight will bring in both the protons and the energy that the plants need to grow, as well as ultraviolet waves. That frequency creates thermal energy and heat, especially as it passes through an insulator like glass. And additionally, I've installed a few initial LED lights, and I will install several more. I have a few boxes of them, and I have a few larger grow lights specifically for making food indoors. So I will get those hung up. The back half of this room is where my chickens will roost at night. Each chicken has a body temperature of about 115 degrees at rest. So at night in winter in Wisconsin, I'm hoping to not have to add any supplemental heat, and that between the thermal mass in the hydroponic buckets that will warm up all day, the thermal energy that will come through the glass from the natural sunlight, and the accumulation of the chicken's body heat, that I will create a balanced ecosystem right here in this little shed. And if I balance that ecosystem well, I will have enough food for me, fresh greens, fresh vegetables, fresh minerals, and I'll be able to share a good portion of that with the chickens. The chickens will then recycle the scraps of the plants they'll survive on, and they'll provide me free, clean eggs every day. I'm Michael, a regenerative architect, and I'm talking about transplanting a little tomato plant and then taking that up several more steps to include cohabitating my winter grow within my chicken coop, a little bit of isolation, and making sure that I'm taking advantage of all of the free energy that the sun is providing. By using the chicken's body heat in the backside of the coop, that will help warm up the greenhouse front side, and by letting light in the greenhouse, it will help warm up the back chicken side. That's a life cycle. As the chickens come out to eat, they'll make energy, release heat. As they release heat, the plants will stay warm. As the plants stay warm, I have more food. I have more food, the chickens can eat. It's a life cycle. As the sun goes up and the sun goes down, it changes the directness of the energy that the sun sends us. That's a cycle, night and day. And it closes that loop without fail. And I do my best to close all my loops without fail, and I am still human. I'm Michael, a regenerative architect. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Grow clean food. Peace to all brothers and sisters. Turn your energy up. Come to act kindly upon the world. Act kindly upon the world and see you are universally, naturally intelligent. Love becomes